Hello, thank you for joining me here at Why the Book Wins, where I compare books with their movie adaptations. My name is Laura, and today I'm talking about Bridget Jones's Baby. The book is by Helen Fielding and was released in 2016. And the movie also came out in 2016 and is directed by Sharon Maguire, who is the same director as the first Bridget Jones film. So yeah, I am continuing my Bridget Jones coverage with the third movie in the franchise. And the third movie is actually based on the fourth book. So the third book in the series is Mad About the Boy. However, she does a significant time jump from Edge of Reason to Mad About the Boy. And then Bridget Jones's Baby then goes back in time to the time between Edge of Reason and Mad About the Boy. And so it makes sense that the movies chose to adapt this and then save Mad About the Boy for later. But also, by the way, so this book came out the month after the movie was released. And I also read that Helen Fielding helped write the script of the film. So I'm not sure what came first. Like, did they want her to write a script for the in-between time? And then from there, she went on to write the book as well. I'm not really sure the order of events there. But yeah, so basically, the events of Mad About the Boy come after everything, despite it being the third book. And in both book and movie, Bridget still works at Sit Up Britain. And before I get into the details of the book and movie plot, I am hearing that we have a breaking message coming from Laura, our correspondent in the Sit Up Britain studio. So let's go over to her and see what she has to say. Thank you for that, Laura. Yes, I am here today to share a very important message about the upcoming holiday. And I would first like to thank Ana Luisa for providing me with the jewelry that I am wearing in today's video, because in a development that has hearts racing across the globe, Ana Luisa has been named the perfect Valentine's Day gift. This revelation comes as couples are scrambling to find the perfect expression of love. Experts confirm that Ana Luisa's timeless appeal is the key to its meteoric rise in Valentine's Day gift rankings. Unlike fleeting options such as chocolates or flowers, Ana Luisa offers a lasting symbol of affection. Each piece carries a story, a memory, and a promise of enduring love, making it the perfect keepsake. Ana Luisa makes its jewelry anti-tarnish and strong, ensuring that it will last longer than any of Bridget Jones's relationships. Moreover, Ana Luisa's versatility allows for the personalized touch. Whether it's a delicate gold bracelet, a pair of diamond earrings, or a bold statement necklace, there's something to suit every taste. This ability to reflect the unique style and personality of the recipient has cemented Ana Luisa's place as a thoughtful and meaningful gift choice. But that's not all, because it also adds an element of luxury and significance, making the recipient feel cherished and adored. It's the sparkle that lights up the room, and more importantly, the heart. Ana Luisa manages to make products that look like they cost hundreds of dollars when really they are very reasonably priced. And when you make your purchase from Ana Luisa, be sure and use the affiliate link I have posted down below in my description. Thank you again to Ana Luisa for providing these pieces of jewelry I am wearing for today's video, and stay tuned for more Valentine's Day updates as the celebration unfolds. But for now, back to you, Laura, for your book versus movie coverage. Wow. Thank you, Laura, for that Valentine's Day update. And I have to agree that I love Ana Luisa's jewelry. These earrings, these are like the dangle type earring that you put through all the way. Anyway, they're really cool. And then this is just one necklace, but it's one necklace that looks like two. And then to show you this bracelet, like, I just love the look of this too. And I love how it's tight. It's not like a loose bracelet that's moving all around my arm, you know, but anyway, so yeah, I love Ana Luisa, and I would highly recommend you check them out for yourself. And now it is time to get into the details of the plot, which means there will be spoilers going forward. So in both book and movie, Bridget is single. She and Mark have broken up since the end of The Edge of Reason. And she has a one-night stand with two different men in close proximity to each other. And when she then becomes pregnant, she does not know which man is the father, and she won't know until after the baby is born. But one huge change from book to movie is that in the book, the two men she slept with were Mark and Daniel, whereas in the movie, Daniel is not in this, and therefore it is instead this random guy named Jack, who hasn't been in any of the previous Bridget Jones movies. And he is played by Patrick Dempsey, and I just wasn't feeling this character or his performance. And also, like, I know these are called Bridget Jones's Diary, Bridget Jones's Baby, but I kind of feel like both Mark and Daniel are so integral to the Bridget Jones universe that it just seems wrong to have a Bridget Jones movie without one or the other, you know? And so it's kind of like Harry Potter. Like, Harry Potter is the focal point, and yet imagine if they made a Harry Potter movie without Ron or Hermione, right? Like that would just be wrong because Ron and Hermione are as integral to the story as Harry is, despite the fact that Harry is in the title, you know? So this just wasn't the same without Hugh Grant reprising his role as Daniel. And it's not like as soon as I saw he wasn't in this, it's not like I just wrote off Patrick Dempsey and I assumed the worst. Like I still went into this movie feeling hopeful, and I had heard some good things. So I was like, okay, I haven't seen much with Patrick Dempsey, but I was open to see what he does in the role. But now that I have seen the movie, I can say that I think it would have been far better had they been able to get Hugh Grant back as Daniel. And I did read that Hugh Grant was initially set to rejoin the cast for this movie, and they wrote the script with him included, but he eventually declined due to not liking the script and not seeing how the character could fit into the story without changing him dramatically. And Hugh Grant didn't want Daniel Cleaver to have a dramatic change, and so he declined. And so changing characters from Daniel to Jack lead to some significant changes to the story because most everything that is unique to Jack is obviously not in the book. And we learn in the movie that he is a mathematician who has a dating website, and he and Bridget meet and hook up when they are at a music festival, and she does not realize who he is and how he's, super rich and relatively famous. But once she tracks him down 12 weeks later and tells him she is pregnant, even when he knows there's just a 50-50 chance he is the father, he still commits to being there for Bridget alongside Mark. And something that happens in both is that Jack/Daniel tells Mark that they weren't wearing a condom when he hooked up with Bridget, which leads Mark to assume that clearly Jack/Daniel must be the father, and so Mark steps out of Bridget's life. But something about this that was frustrating is that, why would Mark just blindly believe this guy and not go talk to Bridget herself, right? Again, going back to Edge of Reason, Mark and Bridget do not have very good communication skills. And yeah, so he doesn't ask her if this is the truth. He just believes what this guy says. And to be fair to movie Mark, he also kept feeling like Jack and Bridget were just a much better couple. And Jack seems like a decent, honest guy. And so when he says this, Mark believes him, and he also feels like he is being the bigger man by letting Jack have Bridget. Whereas in the book, this is Daniel Cleaver we're talking about. Why would Mark just assume he's telling the truth and not even bother asking Bridget to make sure, to confirm, right? Daniel, you can't trust him. So that just in the book, it made no sense, and it was very frustrating of Mark. And then, once Mark steps away out of Bridget's life, Daniel does not step up and be the expectant father who is there for Bridget the way he kind of let on he would be. Whereas in the movie, Jack does step up and he is there with her every step of the way. But in both, even in the movie with Jack, being the seemingly perfect boyfriend and expectant father, Bridget still loves Mark. And in the movie, Jack admits to her the truth of how he lied to Mark. Whereas in the book, Bridget had seen them talking. And so she later puts two and two together and she's like, wow, Daniel and Mark were talking. Mark storms off. I never hear from Mark again. So she's like, what did Daniel say? So she calls up Daniel and she makes him tell her what he had told Mark. And so then she contacts Mark being like, Daniel lied. I used the same type of eco condom with both of you. And so there really is a 50-50 chance on who the father is. But in both, by the end, she and Mark realize their love for each other. Plus, what do you know? The baby ends up being Mark's, which is very convenient. But in the book, I did like how Daniel, he is there when the baby is born, and he's relieved because he's like, wow, I'll be honest, I don't think I was up for that responsibility, so I think this worked out for the best. However, they do name Daniel the godfather of their son, and he is very touched by this. Whereas in the movie, we knew that Jack was more than willing to take this on, being a dad. And in the movie, he seems disappointed in how things play out. However, we then jump to a year later and Bridget and Mark are getting married and Jack is there holding the baby for them. But honestly, though, this kind of makes no sense. He was only in their life for 6 months because Bridget told him she was pregnant when she was already 3 months along. And so he's not the father. Bridget doesn't love him. Mark barely knows him. Why is this guy still part of their life right now? Am I being heartless, or did that just seem kind of weird? Like I was not buying that. Like Daniel, Mark, and Bridget each had their different drama with Daniel through the years, of course, but they each had known him for years, and they did have their positive times with him. And so just it made more sense. I was more willing to believe that they would name Daniel the Godfather. Whereas, yeah, Jack, we don't know if he's the godfather or not, but a year later he's there and seems like a second father to this baby. And yeah, it just seemed weird. Like, what are you still doing here, Jack? You've known them for 6 months. You don't have any attachment to them anymore. So I feel like he needs to be out of the picture. But with Mark, I did want to say how in the book we learned that the reason she and Mark broke up after Edge of Reason was because Bridget drunkenly cheated on him with Daniel. Whereas in the movie, we see that they just weren't very compatible and Mark was always too busy with work. And honestly, this is a good example how in both book and movie, I honestly don't think Mark and Bridget make a very good pair. Like their communication skills, like I've said, are horrible with each other. But then also, they're just so different. And I get that opposites attract, but I feel like they are so different in a way that just makes them seem very incompatible. And honestly, I also don't particularly like Mark. I liked him in the first movie, but then from there on out, I feel like I just like him less and less as each movie goes on. And, you know, he's always so serious. And again, he has poor communication skills and he's not good at expressing himself. And then, you know, Bridget, to be fair, she can be very immature with the way she handles things too. So they both could use some growing. But also in the book, I wanted to share a quote from Mark. This is in the end, he is talking to Bridget and he says, "Do you know one of the things I love most about you, Bridget? That in all the time I've known you, I've never once been bored by you. There have been several near-death experiences. I've been on fire, both sexually in your bed and physically in your kitchen. I've been poisoned, I've been crazed with lust, furious, heartbroken, humiliated, embarrassed, ecstatic, soaked, covered in cake, confounded by your idiosyncratic, though largely valid internal logic, insulted by drunks, forced into breaking and entering scenarios, fights in legal extremis, third world jail, embarrassing parental occasions, vomit, professional humiliation, but never for a single second have I been bored." And I just kind of hated this because drama does not equate love or a good relationship. Like the person you're with should be exciting to you, right? And they should be interesting and, you know, make life interesting. But that exciting and interesting is not the same as drama. And that's what he and Bridget have. Like there's just constant drama in their relationship. And so I feel like that's kind of sending a bad message to, or maybe not sending a bad message, but yeah, I feel like Mark misunderstands what a good, healthy relationship is. I'm no relationship therapist though, so who am I to be judging what he wants in a relationship? But anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I know not liking Mark is probably controversial because most people love Mark. I mean, it's Colin Firth, Mr. Darcy. But yeah, I don't know. With each movie, I kind of like him less and less. And also, it's ironic. This is spoilers for Mad About the Boy, but it's funny that we never see them in a healthy long-term relationship because by the time Mad About a Boy begins, Mark is dead. And so I almost feel like the author, does she not know how to write like a healthy dynamic? And so it also makes me question, like, how good was Mark and Bridget's relationship to begin with? Like, they were only together for like 5 years or something before he dies. We never really see the proof of if they were even a good pair. But then just some final things I want to mention before I wrap up. So in the movie, we see that Daniel is presumed to be dead, and we see Bridget and Mark at a memorial for him at the start of the movie. However, by the end, we see that he has been found. And also, we hear at the start of the book that after Bridget and Mark broke up, he then got married to someone else, and Daniel also got married. However, by the time she then hooks up with them later on in the story, or like at the start of the story, but after some time has passed, they both have gotten divorces. And also, her parents are in both book and movie, but they do not play as big a role as before, and like they're hardly in the story, really. And so it seems like with each book/movie, their involvement is less and less, which is kind of too bad because I did really like their story and their performances in the first movie. And then when it comes to book versus movie, so honestly, I didn't particularly like either one of these. And something that annoyed me about the book is that Fielding wrote Bridget Jones's Baby. She did it based off of the events of the first 2 movies, not the events of the first 2 books, which kind of leads me again to wonder if it had to do with her helping write the script. And then maybe from there, the book came out of that. I'm not sure, but she is constantly referencing things that happened in the movies that did not happen at all in the book. And she does it so much. And so each time it happened, it just annoyed me more and more. Like, I get the movies were very popular, but to cater to your film audience in that way and just disregard things that happened in the books and only focus on the movies, I just found that kind of annoying. Maybe I'm just being a snobbish book reader right now, but to cater only to the film audience, I did not like. But yeah, the movie Bridget Jones's Baby, I just felt kind of bored and I was not very invested in the story. There were some funny moments. For example, we have Emma Thompson in the role of the doctor, and I did like her brief moments on screen. And I liked when Bridget brings each of the men to learn the gender of the baby, but she brings them separately because they do not yet know that there is a 50-50 chance on who the father is. By the way, in the book, very early on, like when she tells each of them separately that they could be the father, she also tells them that first time around, or at least very early, that it's a 50-50 chance. Whereas in the movie, it's dragged out much longer, where they both think they are the only option as a father. And so it just causes more of a comedic dilemma in the film by her putting it off for so long. But yeah, I also thought the part with Ed Sheeran, he has a cameo at the music festival, and I did think that part was funny too. But yeah, both book and movie are kind of equally blah, in my opinion. I think if I had to choose a winner, I would say that the book wins, in large part just because Daniel is in the book, whereas he's not in the movie at all. So I guess I would say that the book wins when it comes to Bridget Jones's Baby. And I did want to say that, Edge of Reason and Bridget Jones's Baby, these two videos, I've been more negative, but I want to let you know that I did really like Mad About the Boy, the book. I have not seen the movie yet, of course, but I did really like that book. And so I am really excited for the movie. And I think that video will be back to me speaking more positively of this. And Mad About the Boy, like that would be my second favorite book in the series, like just a bit below the first book. And so it is one I would recommend. And again, I think my book versus movie video for that one will be much more positive. But yeah, anyway, that wraps it up for today's book versus movie video. Once again, do not forget to use my link to check out Ana Luisa's incredible jewelry, whether you are buying it for yourself or for someone else for Valentine's Day. And they are a company that I do believe in their products, So yeah, check that link out down below. And thank you again for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.